How's everybody doing?
The energy, you guys, has been quite interesting.
Gnarly.
Yes.
Is everybody else feeling that too? Like, well, you share first, like what your experience has kind of been the last 3 days?
I would say like the last 3 days have been a lot of changes. And I mentioned this in my blog yesterday where I feel like people are dropping away in my life. And I'm not really...
So intense, yeah.
And I'm not really doing much. I'm really just holding my vibration.
Totally.
And then some people just, I guess they can't keep up, or I don't know what it is. But I feel like I'm the same.
High vibe, can't keep up.
High vibe, can't keep up. And then the other thing I've been feeling is like a lot of external things that are challenging us right now, like website stuff, business stuff, like things that you have to kind of like... It's almost, the universe is wanting you to step into more of that, like, official, like... there's just a lot of external challenges lately. And I'm talking about more of the technical stuff, where it's like, oh, really? Like, I just want to be a spiritual being in my space.
You want to be more creative and, like, in the flow, and you're like, oh, I need to stop and do all this
and this
mechanical.
and it's been feeling like my peace is being a little disrupted.
A little challenge?
A little challenge, but...
a challenge.
Yeah, so... I was actually telling Serah yesterday that I had like a revelation where usually when the universe sends me curveballs, I just kind of go like, thank you, universe, it's a privilege and I get to grow through this. And yesterday I set a boundary with my guides, just like I do with people sometimes. And I was like, hey, spirit guides, this doesn't feel good to me. I'm all about evolving, but send me stuff that actually excites me. That's like a challenge, a puzzle that I have to solve. And the stuff that you guys are sending me doesn't feel good to me. And we have a free will, and we don't have to participate in anything that we don't want to participate into in life. So that was my download.
I love that you did that, because it switches almost, like, because so many times, you know, we can either be negatively motivated or positively motivated. And so sometimes we get these hits and these downloads, and that it feels negative, and then that motivates us to do something. But really kind of stepping into the space of like, hey, I want to be motivated by things that feel good and exciting and creative and all of those.
And I've also learned that you have to set boundaries with your spirit guides too. Like when I first started awakening, I wasn't sleeping much because I felt so much energy. So I felt like they were working on me all the time. My body was so warm.
I would wake up at 3:33 a.m.
Would you?
All the time.
Wow.
My phone would technically send a little text message at 3:30.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Only there was nobody texting me.
So remember, you can healthily set boundaries with your spirit guides, because remember, they're not in this density. So you can set boundaries and say, guys, like, I need my sleep right now, or whatever. Cool.
I need a chill out, pause moment.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's kind of been my experience this week as well. Like, just a lot of external challenges, or seemingly external challenges, that then triggered the internal, and then creating or just really being able to look at all those internal challenges just rising above the kind of energy and the emotion that just makes you want to like scream.
And don't you find that it's like energy that in a way you've kind of already graduated from? Like you've been here, you've been there, done it.
This is old.
This is old, and so I feel like that's when it's appropriate to say, hey guys, like, I've been here, done that, and as much as I'm wanting to learn, give me some yummy stuff. Like, you know?
Love that, yes.
Ain't nobody going to force you to play tennis if you don't want to, you know? You can choose your basketball. You have a free will. All right, so let's start with a question on your side.
Okay, cool. I'm loving you guys so much today, and just sending out so much positive energy and vibes your way. Just because I know if we're feeling it, you guys are probably feeling it too. So just sending out big love and support, and, you know, for just anything that you're going through. So
Truly.
If you got questions, start writing them in. Let me scroll back up and see where we're at. Let's see. Change is an understatement, Phil.
Change is an understatement.
That's so true. But if we're not changing, then we're stagnant.
Yes.
So, but yes, change. What would be a good word for that?
If what?
Deep, massive, transformational. I don't even know.
And I think it's also important to bear in mind that we're the ones kind of promoting all of this change in our meditations and in our positive thinking, so we can expect that energy to accelerate, right? The change, the energy of transformation is accelerating because of a lot of the work that we're plugging in to spirit.
Quick shout out from James. He's like, song request for next session, Closer by Guaple.
Okay,
that is my jam.
Oh, I don't know that song.
That song, I used to have that song on repeat. She sings about getting closer to my dreams. Oh. It's so good call, James. Love that. Okay, hang on. Let me find a good question. Energy lately has been intense. Yes. Favorite part of my week. Awesome. Thanks, Shell Bees.
By the way, I just want to show you this.
Where are we at?
Synchronicity. Crazy, right?
Guidance from, what
Whoever
is that from
said Kali, forceful transformation, you are right on target.
So 100% on point.
Right on target.
Yep, was that not...
We were talking about that today. It's crazy.
We showed up at because we usually chill, like, at this little coffee shop, kind of jam out before we, like, touch base with you guys. And I straight up was like, Phil... There is, like, this straight, like, Kali energy that is, like, flowing through right now. I don't know where it's coming from or what the F, but Kali AF. That's the new one.
It's crazy. Kali AF.
Love that. So on point. And just saying that, because I've done a little research on Kali, and she's such a misunderstood sort of goddess. So they talk a lot about it being... or her being, death and destruction and all of that stuff. But she's also, like, the mother mama bear that is, like, protective and, like, wanting to, like, protect the cocoon and birthing. Yeah. So whenever we have a death, we're always setting ourselves up then, or we know that we're going to be set up for an automatic rebirth. So anything that we talk about release and letting go and, like, really pulling back from old stuff, as much as it's, like, pulling up those emotions in us, like, keep in mind that, like, the light at the end of the tunnel is, like, you are gearing up for a major rebirth. And that kind of phoenix rebirth.
And we all have the creator and destroyer in us.
We absolutely do.
Like, we create energy, and then
that's part of change. That's part of transformation. If it's not happening, then, like we said, like, we're stagnant. So you want that to be happening. Okay, so Soulful Sunshine. Love that. What's up, gorgeous? I feel like my life purpose is to be a light worker and have a career in spirituality.
That's amazing.
Love that. We need more light bearers like you. Welcome to the club.
And we need them everywhere. In Denmark, in India, and Cambodia. That way we can all be, like, disseminated everywhere.
Exactly. So her question is, what would you say is a good start in the right direction? Love that question. One, if you want to sign up for my Reviving Radiance webinar. But also, it's even just like what we're doing. We have this beautiful opportunity with social media to connect with all of you guys around the world and just sharing that message. So for you, Soulful Sunshine, which I love, that's such a, like, awesome little branding kind of name. Just start wherever you're at, like, tapping into, like, what is the message that you want to be known for? What's the intention for you actually wanting to bring your message out and share it with the world? What do you stand for? What's your mission? And what has really touched you in your life? A lot of that has to do with, everybody says, like, your pain is your purpose, so really tapping into the past that you've been through and how to anchor those lessons that you've learned, how that can then, support somebody else in their life, because you are your ideal client. And, for those of you guys, if you've, been on my last video that I posted on Instagram, which I got to see Les Brown, amazing, and on that video, he specifically said, he's like, we all have a voice, we all have a distinct message on, really being able to bring light and love and really ground that in through being a conduit of sharing that message and having that voice. And so each one of you has a voice.
Absolutely. And remember that your light work starts now.
Yeah.
You don't need to be helping people right now. Focus on yourself. And remember that the intention that you set when you are with yourself really can reverberate out into the cosmos. So it's not a lot. I speak to a lot of people who are like, I want to do what you do, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a lot of it is the work that you do when no one's looking.
Yes.
So it's like,
who are you being when no one's looking? When Instagram's not on.
and then really utilizing that imagination, so you can be washing dishes and imagining that the water that's clearing, that's cleansing your plate is actually light that's cleansing out darkness on the world.
That.
And that, when you actually really set your intention high, that can have more of an impact than a stadium of people who are trying to be light workers. So remember, it starts with you, and it's all about altering your inner energetic template.
Yes.
And then that, as a result, spills over into your reality. Yeah. So the light working starts now. And remember, as soon as you say to the universe, as soon as you say, universe, I'm here as a volunteer to be of service and to help raise the vibration of the planet and of the universe, watch out. Because because a lot of people, I mean, let's face it, we're on the third dimension. A lot of people are still self-absorbed. Right. So not a lot of people want to serve. They want to self-serve. Right. So as soon as you state to the universe, I want to be a volunteer, to serve other people, consider it done.
Yeah. At least within 30 days. Yes. Like, your life will shift.
It will shift. It will shift. And sometimes it might be 4 years. Totally. But then you need to be okay with that, because what the universe is positioning you for is for an increase in your psychic abilities, in your ESP, and sometimes we do have to hibernate for a while to get in touch with those abilities. Yeah. And a lot of processing takes place.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because it's like, it doesn't mean that you're not then being of service to even one person in your day-to-day life. Exactly. Right? But if the education and going inward and all that stuff, if that takes 4 or 5 years or whatever, or even 30 days, it doesn't matter.
Be okay with that.
Be okay with that. And that's all still part of the journey.
Exactly. And you may wake up one morning and be like, oh my God, I'm feeling nudged to like start something, and then it's going to take over you, and then you just go with it.
That's a good point. Following that feeling, that inner, always coming back to that inner guided system. Like, that was a really good point. I like that you said that. So starting whenever it feels really good for you, but knowing that, like, just tapping into, that message that you want to share. Yeah. And
this is a good question that kind of ties into multidimensionality, and we can expand on it. Ooh, so the guy said, Phil, do you see a partner in your near future? And my answer to that, do I see a partner? I do, and I already am that guy who's in a partnership. And so I know it sounds silly, but when people ask me, like, hey, do you want to go out, whatever, sometimes I will even say, like, I've already met my soulmate, but just not on a physical level. Okay? Because I really feel like look, there's no such thing as time as the past, present, future. And I really like to get into that in the multidimensional arena. So remember, if you can see yourself as that future wife or that future husband, and you step into that now, then you're starting to usher in that energy into your body. Totally. And then, if people ask you out on dates, you might say no, because I've already felt their essence. And I know, what I'm kind of getting closer to. So the answer to, do I see a partner in my near future? I already see that person now. And that person is already existing right now, and I'm already that partner. And that's why I try to show up in my everyday life like that partner. Totally. So if you're trying to magnetize a relationship, be that person that you see yourself being when you're in a relationship.
Yeah. Like, who do you have to be in order to magnetize that person? Exactly. And elevating yourself up to that. Yes. And I'm so just because it came up this week, and I'm just going to give a shout out to my mama, because she drops these like bombs
Her
of
mom
wisdom.
Is on fire.
And this came up in conversation, about partnership and magnetizing partnership, right? And she actually said, this is verbatim, quote from mom, so this goes from everybody, my mama to you. She says, you already have magnetized your ideal partner. You just don't know how far away from your magnet they are.
I love that. I really do.
It makes so much sense, because they could be this far away, like just a little bit, or they could be a year far away. You don't know. Yes. But you're already just trusting and setting that kind of reframe that you're already magnetizing them in. You just don't know exactly how far away from you being the magnet that they
The other thing is, like, when you hold that vibration, that certain standard of what you see yourself being in, you can expect a lot of people to gravitate to you. Yeah. But it doesn't. But then you can just weed it out and be like, no, I already know. Yeah, because you've been feeding that particular level for so long that if anything comes, you're like, no, that's not it. That's not I already know that's not it. So
so knowing that it's not it, just to kind of like clarify a little bit, it's like once you know that vibration of who you are being, that then will attract that, then whenever somebody comes up to you, if they don't match that feeling, that vibration, then that's how you know. You're like,
you don't even have to think about exactly it. It's just, Totally. You just know.
Love that
and
question.
Yet it's an affirmation that you're vibing high and that you're still,
and universe is like, here you go, try this one.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, no, that's not it, thanks. Okay, here, try
that's
this.
That's
not it. Okay. That was a great question. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the hurricane season was stressful. Exactly. Thankfully, Florida-based family is all okay. Exactly. Oh my gosh. And yeah, let's just do like a little heart, because I know there's, even after the storms have cleared and all of that stuff, and whether this is, I've been reading, whether this is HARP created and man-made created or naturally created, whatever it is, it's creating, just such stressfulness just across turmoil across the ethers for everybody. So even though we're here in California, we're all picking up the energetic vibe collectively that everybody's going through. So maybe just take a quick 2 seconds right now and, just send out a little heart vibe to anybody and everybody, whether they've been affected actually in the storms, or then everybody who's been, connected to it collectively. So
this is something that's been coming up for me this week. Haven't you guys noticed that when you have a negative thought, you kind of it's like your spiritual antenna tunes into that particular radio channel, mm-hmm. and then you start to get bombarded with all these thoughts, and they're not yours because it's just coming in like a flood.
Yeah.
So during this time, try to remain unthreatened by whatever this energy is bringing up in you. Because it is not you and you are not it. But what you can do is then step into the observer and ask it, and just kind of observe it and see what is... Because what's happening right now is I feel like it's an opportune time to really study the collective, right? The collective meaning those thoughts that float in that collective mind, that universal mm-hmm. mind. So as these things come up for you, maybe try to disassociate from them and just observe them. And that's going to enhance your extrasensory perception.
Yeah, I love that.
Because we tend to be easily threatened by what we feel, and oftentimes what we feel is really just part of the collective mm-hmm. mind.
I like to explain it this way. So mm-hmm. If you guys ever do any research on, ley lines, Hartman grid lines, they're basically these vibrational lines that grid the whole earth. And they don't disappear. They're about 8 feet by 6 feet, and so we're constantly walking through them. Mm-hmm. And I'll just say that it's my personal theory, right? So, this is just between my research and tapping in and all of that stuff. So this is my personal perspective of this, that those ley lines are actually carrier lines for our electromagnetic frequencies, but also emotions and thoughts, since emotions and thoughts are also vibration. So I believe they get carried on these lines. And so not only are we programming these lines with our emotions and thoughts, but also everybody else's as well. So, like you were saying, we're walking through our day, and at one moment we could totally be feeling fine, and then all of a sudden you get this random thought that doesn't even... You're like, where did that come from? Yeah. That doesn't feel like mine. I don't know where that came from.
And it sends you into a whirlwind.
Because then you're internalizing it and being like, oh, well, if it's inside my head, then it must be mine. Mm-hmm. And then you create your own emotion to that, which creates another thought, and you keep looping around.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, okay, I'm walking through this field of these ley lines, and not all the thoughts are my own. So being able to kind of like Phil said, tap in psychically, see those, and mm-hmm. then say, does that one feel good, or is that mine? No.
It's usually not. And you'll notice a simple example would be let's say you're having a piece of cake, okay?
Okay.
And then you start to think oh, I shouldn't be eating this, blah, blah, blah. Is that really your thought? Because you could just be enjoying yourself.
Totally.
So, and it always comes back to this, you guys, and I found this to be true. Just freaking own your free will. Own it. So if you have a drink or if you have a piece of cake,
eat cake.
Enjoy it. Commit to that moment, because it's a moment that many people who are starving in Africa might wish for.
Choose it consciously and powerfully.
Yes.
And don't guilt and shame yourself for whatever that guilt and shame conversation comes from.
And don't shut the shame out or shut the guilt out, but think of it as a little child that's within the collective, that's floating around, that's just needing your love in that moment. Right? And then you get to kind of alchemize it. You get to transmute it. Have the cake. Luke, have the cake.
This is cool. Teddy, just as a real quick shout out, have you ever read any Kurt, what is that? Vonnegut books? Clearly not, because I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think you'd really like Slaughterhouse-Five. Cool. We'll check that out.
This is a question. When your ex says she wants to be friends first to build and gain trust again, would that be a good start to start a fresh new relationship with her?
Say that again?
When your ex says she wants to be friends first to build and gain trust, would that be a good start to start a fresh new relationship with her?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, she's asking you for what she needs. If it's something that you'd like to give to her or you feel like there's potential for you guys to work out, then absolutely, you know, we're here to heal each other. And to hold that space for one another. So,
and especially, if there was anything that happened, right, that needs to be kind of like cleared out. So she's saying to reestablish like trust and all of that. And no matter what relationship, whether it's new or recommitting again, it's like, let's create the foundation of just having fun together and being friends and really enjoying each other's company, not all like the other stuff. It's like, that's like the cake, right?
It's the root chakra.
It's the root chakra.
It's the root chakra of the relationship.
Yes, and not sexually. Sex is like the icing on the cake, but you eat too much icing and then you get a stomach ache.
Yeah, and then it's not special anymore. Too much. Exactly.
Point is, create the foundation of the cake before you put the icing on.
Create the vortex.
The vortex.
It's a vortex that's going to sustain you guys. And you can draw so much information from that vortex. Yeah. Even when you're sleeping.
Well, the
you guys are like truly...
relationship is a consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like another child. Well, I don't want to say another. Well, it's
like almost like a crystalline grid.
Okay.
That's kind of like that you guys are building together. Yes. And then you're able to draw information individually and collectively.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because then if you establish it as that, then you can say, okay, what values do we want to create in this relationship? But then also tap into the consciousness of the relationship and then say, okay, what values does this consciousness want to teach us? And how is the values of that relationship also then separate from our individual values of the things that we do in our life and, you know, the passions that we have and all of that stuff.
And remember, when you're on your first or second date with someone and you go to the movies and hold hands, guess what's being formed? The vortex. It's that feeling, right? Ooh. It's that feeling. That just hit me now. You're holding hands and there's that excitement, but really, you know, there's also that vortex is building.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love it. I call it a nexus.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
So it's this all-encompassing thing.
I love that.
Okay. Next. Was that on your side? Okay.
That was on my side.
Ingrid 333, my number, love it. Which I got a little, you know, shout out to all you guys that were like, yeah, I woke up at 3:33 also and 4:44 and all that stuff. Ascended Masters, angels, love it. Mm-hmm. So Ingrid says, do you think an ego breaking or suffering spawns spiritual interest or growth?
I think it's all interconnected. I think as your ego breaks, you're growing spiritually.
You're growing spiritually. And as you grow spiritually
you're breaking your ego.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That was a good answer. I mean, that's pretty to the point. I think it covers all bases.
Like, I don't resonate with the ego, like the breaking aspect.
Me neither.
Or suffering.
It's
I'm not saying that that's bad and wrong or anything, but it's like your ego is, you know, we said this, I think, like on one of the other videos. It's like that's part of your inner child. That's part of you. So getting, you know, it may be rambunctious or, you know, creating different fears or, you know, ego-driven desires, responses. Exactly. And so it's more like a disciplinary thing and working in the relationship with the ego rather than be like, I need to break you and cut you off and be done with you in order to be spiritual. It's like, no, it's an integration.
And a lot of people make that mistake. I'm done with I'm going to deconstruct my ego, and then when you're around them, they're not grounded.
Yeah.
They absorb everyone's energy. And we need that healthy ego that's like, this isn't mine, and I'm blocking you out, and all of this. And
you can't get rid of the ego.
And think of it instead of thinking of it as a dismantling of the ego, think of it as a busting of old paradigms.
Oh, yes.
You're busting old paradigms.
Yes. The patterns of the ego that are trying to keep you in a enslaved and in a limited way of thinking, being, behaving that isn't serving the higher level of spiritual awareness or evolution.
But in a previous life, potentially.
Yeah. And it served to a certain extent in this lifetime. It served you for something.
Dude, if you live with a freaking molester abuser and you're having to protect yourself, that ego freaking saved your life.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the thing is,
like, I don't deserve this. Like, then, that might be ego, and yes, it got you out.
Yeah, and then you're born, you become embodied in a new energy, and maybe you don't need that survival mechanism anymore.
The fear and the needing to protect and all that stuff.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
good.
But really great. Can I talk?
Yeah.
Really great question.
Very good.
I feel like the energy is going so fast right now. I feel like my mind is going faster than my mouth can actually talk. What do we got on your side? You guys are amazing.
Ooh, I think Serah can take over this one.
Where we got?
What are your opinions on someone who says they think love is a made-up feeling? Run, boo. Run. Love is all there is.
Love is a made-up feeling? Okay.
Love is all there is.
I want to tap into this person, not you, the person who said that. Made-up feeling. So what I'm getting... I'm like,
That's what it's
One, they probably don't have a whole lot of fun in their life. So what I'm getting is that, so I feel from them like a lot of
atheist energy.
Atheist, and so maybe even with that, like they've been really hurt, and something somebody said to them, whatever it was, like just. Like it really put up that wall of protection, and they're so afraid to then tap in to opening up that space of love and connection because something made them so afraid of doing that, and it made it not safe for them, and so that's where they're operating from. And so I would just continue. I'd be like, if love is a made-up feeling, then I'm just going to keep sending it to you.
And you know what's interesting is just that statement alone kind of implies that they're, like, needing love in that moment.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like, they're seeking something.
Yes.
You know? So, but yeah, love is definitely not a made-up feeling. As a matter of fact, I was talking to my client today about how everything that feels separate to us is the dream. But everything that feels separate to us, like when you get strife, reactiveness, all of that stuff is part of the illusion, and it's reflecting in us how to come into unification.
Oh, I like that.
So remember that love is the substance that is holding us all together, and anything that feels separate from who we are, jealousy, envy, all of these things, those are rooted in separation, and separation is really just a splintering off into something other than the light, like trying to remove yourself from the light. But yeah, love is really all there is.
Like, honestly, I just want to say, like, let's play a game and just say that love is a made-up feeling. Would you rather make up the feeling of love, or would you rather make up a feeling of something that's not love?
That's right. Exactly.
Which one sounds like more fun?
And in a way, we do generate feelings.
We
like
do.
If you pair the right thought with the right emotion.
We're human. We're relational beings. We're emotional beings. We're supposed to be feeling.
And in a way, we're wizards. Because if you take a thought that you want to be in a relationship and pair it with the right emotion, then that resounds into the universe.
Exactly.
So yes, you can maybe generate a feeling of love or generate but for the most part, love is definitely not made up.
Send that person so much made up love.
So much. And don't get into a debate with them. No. You're going to lose because people like that can't go higher than...
Well, they're operating from their point of reality, how they see the world, how they've experienced the world. And if they have experienced the world where something really negative happened to them, where they're like, ugh, love is a made-up feeling, whatever, you know what I mean? Then, like, that just screams, cynicism, and, like, that's awful. That means that person has never really fully experienced the depths of just amazing love, self or with another person. And that person just deserves all the love in the entire world.
For sure.
That was an awesome question.
It was. Oh, this is a good one. Feeling. What's your opinion on not being sexually compatible with someone, but everything else is all you've ever wanted? I would say to you, Shay, Ashley, Ashley, if you guys are not sexually compatible, I would say to you, and I know this is not an easy pill to swallow, but he's not the one. Because you're not trying to be in a relationship with your brother. Or with a friend, truly, you're not. I mean, Serah and I are super, like, we have all these commonalities, and we totally click. Totally. But sexually, it's not there, obviously. You know, I'm into guys, and she's into guys.
That doesn't work. Well, we can compete compete.
But the thing is, if there's one person in the world, and remember, sex is supposed to be experienced. And there are millions of people in the world. If you're supposed to share your body with someone, it better be on fire. Ooh. So don't settle, man. Do not settle.
If that spark ain't there, don't try going to hunt for it.
Right.
I mean, and I can say, like, okay, if everything else aligns, like, could they actually, like, build into something like that and you know, really making that sexual spark work? It's like, yes. And I believe that there is still something called chemistry where, like, you'll stand next to somebody and you're just like, okay, my arm is vibrating and I don't even know why. Yeah. Right? Like, that's just straight spark.
Don't you want to freaking, like, create new universes? When you have an orgasm with the intention of...
Don't you want to have an astral using energy sex?
But I'm serious. When you have an orgasm, if you think to yourself, I'm freaking creating a new universe right now, you become the god of that universe.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm just being silly right now, but I'm just saying.
You're gonna have a really good point.
We're in a multiverse, right? So there are many universes. Dude, you guys, like, sex is so amazing. Like, don't cut yourself off from that beautiful expression.
No, that's awesome. So you want to create...
You become the god of that universe. That's hilarious. I wonder who our god is right now.
Where God is?
So someone who had a serious orgasm.
I said this before, I believe that I think the Big Bang Theory or the whatever that sparked the whole universe and multiverse that we're in and all the planets and everything, I think was actually created by an orgasm.
Orgasms,
it was one giant orgasm that created everything.
And yet they're happening right now as we speak. So there are many universes being created as we speak.
Hello.
It's crazy. So Ashley, I don't think that this is... the one.
Go find somebody you can create universes
Yeah, and one of the downloads I'm getting for Ashley is a lot of it is an inherited program from the family. Totally. Where it's like, we just want family, we just want brotherhood, family, you know, like, once you're married...
there's that safety feeling connection, like, in relationship, right? You want to have, like, the best friend, but you also want the best friend who can, like, bang your brains out.
Totally.
Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if he's not throwing you up against the wall and, like, knows how to just... handle it.
Yes. And it has to be, that sexual attraction has to be there from the get-go. I feel like if it's not there, you usually know.
Yeah.
So just kind of hear that and follow that.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let's take a question on your side.
Okay. Let's see. Can you please help me let go of my ex? I feel like I have, but every once in a while, sorry, my contacts are drying out, so I can't see anything. But every once in a while, I will be overwhelmed with energy from him. Any tips to let go for good? Awesome. Saskia, you are another one who should be signing up for my Reviving Radiance webinar. Because, yes, we cover exactly that, and then how to step back into your power and create your whole universe. Yes. So, yeah, because I'm actually going to be giving a very specific technique for that.
And one line that just came in.
Yeah,
and then
go
you
for
can
it,
just
please.
Jump right in.
I think it's awesome.
Let's stop reminiscing and let's start reinventing. Okay? How's that? Let's stop reminiscing and let's start reinventing.
Exactly. I love that. I don't think I have anything else to say on that.
Look for newness.
Look for newness.
Look for newness. It's all about new. New.
New. And it's, okay, so, okay. Because I feel like I want to give her, like, something, like, right now. And I'm like, okay, so the technique that I'm doing, like, it's going to be, like, a whole, you know, probably 15, 20-minute process, like, on the webinar. And the whole thing is about release, revive, and reinvent. So I love that you said that, because, like, you're in the space of, you're like, okay, stop hanging on to the old so that you can then pull yourself into the space of fully reinventing yourself. And I'm going to say what I'm getting for you is that the reason why you keep picking up his energy or keeps bringing it up in you is because you are at that, like, that space where you're like, I am ready to step into something completely new, and yet there may be a little bit of fear or an unknowing on, like, what that is or how to do that. So that's the old energy that is acting like a ball and chain to keep you in the old pattern. So just looking at the kind of fear aspect and just being gentle with that and saying, like, okay, like, I feel like I'm ready to be stepping into something new. You don't have to play the old story. The old story is giving you a payoff. We all do this. This goes for everybody, no matter what your situation is. If we're staying stuck in something old, it's a story that we keep repeating because that story gives us a payoff. Yes. And what I mean by that is it serves you something. You either get to be right, you either get to be the victim or make him the villain. You get to be, you get attention from your friends maybe. Like, and I'm just calling it out because this is just stuff that is just human behavior, right? And so it's not, there's nothing bad about it and there's nothing wrong about it. It's just like, cool, what story do you keep repeating that you need to, or that you're wanting to keep playing out? This is all subconscious.
And too, someone just said, like, it's kind of hard to stop reminiscing about your ex. It's hard, but the thing is, using words like hard is going to make it harder.
It reinforces it being hard. Exactly.
So find the words in your life that are not, that hold a lower vibration, where you're defeated, and start trashing those words.
Conscious language.
Yeah, conscious language.
Yeah, because you're not actually missing that person.
No.
Like, if we really dissect all of it, the thing that you're mourning for or missing or wishing that you had still or could have is the memories that you guys were to create, right? Like, let's say, you know, you were engaged and then you got all of these beautiful fantasies of, like, the life that you would have and, you know, and then maybe even the children or whatever. So you're really mourning and feeling that connection to all the memories that you created in your fantasy of what you wanted to have.
And
it doesn't mean you don't create that with somebody else. It just means that shifted.
Yes.
So that's what you're
holding
on to.
You're also holding on to the fullness of who you are that you got to experience in that relationship. Right? So if two people come together, you start to really feel the presence of spirit and of love, which is what you are at the core of who you are. And so a lot of what we long for,
hold on to that
we're holding on to that.
That you can't get it anywhere else.
You got to experience yourself in your fullness in that relationship.
Yeah.
And there's a way to connect to that. Meditation, all of this.
Yeah.
And then to the person who then responded to my comment about it's hard to reminisce and we have to be mindful of the words.
Love it.
He said, I try to. Trying isn't good enough anymore.
There's no try,
There's no more trying.
Yoda said that. Everybody does that.
We don't try. When you try, you're kind of saying to a demon, like, I'm scared of you. You know, that's what you're saying. I'm scared of you, so I'm scared to really tell you, like, I'm done. So
that's because there's either trying or choosing.
Yeah.
So if you're saying like you're trying,
that's really
solid.
Good.
So it just means that you haven't. You don't want to give up the story. Like, this is just where we get super real. So, like, just hear it from my heart. Because this is all pattern. Like, we do this with ourselves. We do this with each other, right? Like, just having these deeper conversations about it. That if you're not choosing what you want, right, then you're keeping yourself in the old story.
You have one foot in here and one foot there.
Out. Exactly. So make a commitment and say, you know what? I am done with this old story. this is what I want for my future. And anytime that emotion comes up, be like, no, this is old emotion. Next, moving on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
you have to have that control and conviction.
This is like a personal struggle that I've been healing for about a year and a half. But my gym, I tend to be pretty compulsive. And in the beginning stage, like I'd wake up and my spirit would tell me like, you're not going to the gym today. You're going to rest. But then I'd fight it. And I'd be like, I'm trying not to go, but I'm going to go anyways. And then I started committing to not going. So it was like jump in the shower, throw on some jeans, you're done, you're not going. That's a commitment. So you commit to your healing. You commit to the new. And that's
100% solid.
Commit. Make a choice, like you said. What was it that you said? It was so powerful.
What did I say?
Don't try. You don't try, you choose.
Don't try,
So be committal. Be committal to what it is where you see yourself going.
Yeah.
Good.
Love that. Is this helping you guys? Is this kind of like
Hearts,
supporting
please.
on both sides of everybody? And we're hoping that like, no matter what question, everybody's getting the benefit of this. So we love you guys for being here. Love that. Let's see. Oh, that was that one. Okay. What is this? I had somebody completely fall away from my life suddenly. We were dating for a month. Okay. Is that a question?
Just be precise with the question that you're asking. Because when you kind of leave a statement open like that, it's like you're wanting someone to come in and like save the day.
Solve it.
Or solve it. Yeah, so that
she's wanting to know what happened. Like, why did he just leave suddenly? That's what I'm getting.
I had someone completely fall away from my life suddenly. We were dating for a month. Okay.
Next. Just next.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah. Then if you guys are still pining for whatever in the past, then how is the something new going to show up if you're like looking behind you and looking the other direction? Like hot home slice could be standing right in front of you, but you're like looking over here and not even seeing them.
The past is only important for you to kind of
get the lesson.
And
move on.
And redefine what you're trying to attract.
Yeah. I would say to you, and this is for Duchess Jacqueline with this, what are you making it mean about you? Because there's some negative conversation that you're like, oh, we were good, it was a month, and then he left suddenly. So I'm just going to like kind of mind read for a second and say maybe you're like, oh, I'm not hot enough. I wasn't sexy enough. I'm not smart enough. Like
I did something wrong.
I did something wrong.
I get that all the time. People
the shaming and guilting. Yeah, like,
you guys,
why didn't he like me?
Totally. I speak to so many people who are like, Phil, I think if I had done this different, it would have worked out. That's not true.
No,
That's not true, you guys. There's nothing that you did wrong.
Yeah.
You guys were placed in each other's lives to take lessons. And then that's
reason, season, or a lifetime.
That's
so maybe he came in to be teaching you the exact reason of that lesson that you keep like playing over and over that you're trying to like not let go of.
Exactly.
And whatever that lesson is, whatever that, because like I can feel it in you. It's like and we all do it, right? It's like it's that one. It triggers that one little insecurity of I'm not good enough, and then you shame and you guilt yourself. Like, you're not perfect the way that you are.
Your soulmate will make you feel perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Your soulmate is going to connect, not to the mess-ups, to the spills. He's going to connect to the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
The essence of who you are is the same essence as you were when you were a kid.
Exactly. If he didn't get it...
It's the same. So it's...
his bad.
It's his bad.
So step into your radiance, your power, and just fully feeling into that, knowing that, like, you are the shit... Like, put in a little bit of ego to that, even if it just gets you out of that, like, emotional rut that you're in, and be like, you know what, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
I have a lot to bring to a relationship.
And
like, the man who's going to respect
magic.
that, exactly.
If they don't see the magic flowing in your veins,
they don't deserve to be there.
They don't deserve it.
Because he probably didn't see you. And if he can't see you, then he's blind. And, girl, you don't want to date a blind man.
And, at the same time, he may be blind, and... it's a valid choice.
It's a valid choice.
He may not have been feeling it like you were.
Totally.
So we have to respect that, because sometimes we see our exes with a new girl and you're like, oh, but she's not smart, but she's exactly what he needs right now.
Totally.
So it's every choice that we make is valid.
Totally.
Remember that.
You are perfect for the one who's going to see your perfection.
Totally.
Love
Say that again.
Dude, I changed it.
That was so good.
Thank God we record this.
A guy led me on for 3.5 months. I took things slow. He switched up on me overnight and promised me a lot of things. A guy never treated me so sweet. How am I supposed to trust someone again? A guy led me on for 3.5 months. I took things slow, good. He switched up on me overnight and promised me a lot of things. A guy never treated me so sweetly.
You didn't give him what he thought he was trying to get out of it, in which case then he was just trying to pull your energy.
Yeah. It's the question, it's a little vague because it
is a little bit vague.
I'm not quite sure if she wants the same guy or if she's looking for a new guy.
No, I think I think it's the again, like, what happened? Like, why did he lead me on? Why was he so sweet? Why did we have this amazing connection and then just boom, like, cut and out? Totally. You know what, guys? We're also in this time that's, like, the energies are separating. We're seeing, like, who's of, you know, whether it's authenticity, or who's really connecting to us vibrationally, and then who's not. And again, you know, and I love that you said that too. It's like, don't make them bad and wrong for it. You don't have to know the reason. You will drive yourself crazy if you're sitting there trying to figure out what was the reason for this, and then what does it mean about me, and am I not perfect or whatever. It's like...
Oh, she's answering. What happened? Why did he leave out of nowhere?
Yeah, exactly.
So he left so that you could feel this emotion?
Yeah, and
on a soul level? I mean, in a way, you guys had a soul agreement.
Yeah.
And everything that you're feeling now, you have to make peace with.
Yeah.
And you don't have to try to rationalize it ever. I mean, he left. That's it. Keep it simple. And then...
It could be for 1,000 different reasons.
Yeah, you don't have to try to figure it out. That's for him to know. Right? It's for him to know. He doesn't have to share that information because, again, no one owes us anything.
No.
I mean, the compassionate thing to do is to explain, but do people owe an explanation? Absolutely not.
No.
And then and it was supposed to happen this way so that you can feel all of these abandonment things come up in you, and then you make peace with them.
That's a great one.
You make peace with them.
Because everybody has such a huge abandonment conversation.
I know, I do.
mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
I think it literally started the minute that we shot out and, like, we're incarnated into this world. We're like, wait a second, we're abandoned by the whole universe, right? We're here, we're on our own, hello. Yeah. And so, yes, it's going to trigger that abandonment, and then I would say just give that energy, just love it. Just send it so much love and heal it. But
how am I supposed to trust anyone again? Start trusting God or the universe.
Don't make the next guy that guy.
Yeah, it's not fair to the next guy if you're displacing your emotions onto him and your past experiences onto him.
And then you're going to hold the vibration of men are untrustworthy, and then you'll attract more men who are going to validate that story of men are untrustworthy.
Yes. Trust your process with the universe, and that will then make you more confident in knowing that you're attracting something different.
Yeah.
Yeah? Trust.
Love that.
Okay, good.
Love that.
It's all about our trust. At the end of the day, it's about your trust with your higher self.
Yeah.
Are you willing to relax into the arms of your higher self?
That was solid. Relax. Are you willing to relax into the arms of your higher self? That's badass. So yeah, I hope that helps. We're like, there's such like fiery energy. We're just so like cut through the BS.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys know this is stuff that, like, we say it to ourselves too.
We do.
So like
we do.
We're saying it with love, and at the same time, it's like
don't wallow.
Let's ditch the stories of like the shame and the guilting and like playing the victims and all of that stuff. It's like that's not serving us anymore.
It's not.
Stepping into that level of where you're just like, I love the shit out of myself, and I'm going to start vibrating at the level that will attract the people of that same vibration, and anybody else who doesn't want to hang around, cool.
That's it.
Next.
That's it. That's having self-value.
Yes.
That's saying, you know what? Line them up. Like, I can have anyone I want. You know, and I'm confident in that. You know, I'm not saying me. I'm just saying that's the attitude that you have to embody.
Yeah.
Line them up.
It doesn't mean turn into an asshole and, like, you know, so because we're saying, like, okay, like, having a healthy ego.
Right.
That's not having a negative, like, asshole ego.
It's
that's
positive.
Just, like, it's
Thank
positive.
you, universe, for taking this person away because they would have left me 5 years down the line.
Yeah, or they weren't honoring your value in the first place, in which case, thank you so much for leaving. You just showed me that you didn't want to value me at the level at which I would like to be valued.
Yes, and then feel your sadness because feel your sadness because she keeps replying.
Yes.
But as you're replying, it's like you're fighting for that answer. You're never going to get the answer.
No.
You have to let it go. It's like that the imagery I just got is like the child who gets placed in a foster, what do you call it?
Foster home.
Foster home,
Or
and then
foster
their whole life they're trying to understand why the parents left them.
Yeah.
They left you, and now you have to look forward to the next. You know, and it's not the best example, but that's just what popped into my mind.
And we're not trying to dishonor like the feelings, right? Like that's why
you
you're
have
saying
to
like
feel
you
it.
have to feel
the sadness, but don't expect that person to contribute to your processing.
Yeah. Don't expect to get the answer from them.
No. You know, God, higher self, universe, they will deliver the answers as necessary.
Yeah.
So just be
with
yourself.
But as long as you're staying in that, then you're not in your power.
You're not.
And that doesn't feel good to be there. And totally,
and they
it's
get
sad
power from
and
that.
Sucks and they get power
They get
from
energy
that.
from that, you guys. Like, when you're thinking about people all the time.
Totally.
They get energy. They don't know where the energy's coming from, but trust me, it's a buffet. It's a buffet. So, so try to always reel it back in.
Oh my God, it's a buffet of negative energy going out there, and all the little
it's lack energy.
Sucking up all of it. Yay, food for all the vibrational beings.
What did I say today? They're eating your prana.
They're eating your prana. Oh my God, it was so funny. That was awesome. So yeah, don't let lower vibrations be prana food for dimensional
don't
beings.
Be your lower don't let your lower vibrational emotions
be prana food for all of those dimensional beings.
Those dimensional beings exist, you guys. If you guys saw what happens interdimensionally, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to be positive now. I'm gonna be positive now. I have no choice. Like if your third eye was fully open right now, you'd be like, oh my God, like it's crunch time.
Dude, I totally just joked on that. I'm gonna be positive now. Oh my God.
I've seen some gnarly stuff. Like in the beginning, like when my third eye first opened, I would see beings standing beside someone, feeding off of them.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna be positive.
And the little ones, they come over like the shoulder and shit. You're just like, oh God, that's really creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, be positive.
Yeah, so when you feel stressed on your shoulder or something, there's actually a mouth there.
Yeah.
When you're being sucked on.
They're trying to feed on your lower vibrational prana.
They are. Some people like shoulders, some people like necks, some people like, I
like some people to like nibble on the neck, but not
okay, but not higher dimensional, not weird beings, lower dimensional beings, yeah.
You can bite the neck, but not...
Nah. I want to see you.
Yeah.
If you're not seeable by other humans, then I'm not interested.
No. Okay, so...
Oh, people keep asking me about my ring. You guys, my ring, my mom gets them from Egypt for me. So my parents are from Egypt. And so every summer she gets me silver rings. And obviously this is very pharaoh-like, and I'm very much into that stuff.
Yeah. Was this the same question? Was that the same person, Salon? I think that's the same question, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been in toxic relationships in the past. Girl, take my Reviving Radiance webinar. That's everything that we are talking about.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep plugging it. Why? Because it's in 7 days. I've got already these amazing, almost... What, it's over 80... What did I tell you? Over 80 women who've already signed up.
And a guy.
Oh my God, totally. One guy was like, okay, I know I'm a guy, but I've dealt with toxic relationships. Can I still sign up? So I totally
Of course you can.
Of course you can. So yes, it's targeted towards women, but it's also just toxic, blah, blah, blah. Get it over, get it done, and then find out what next level of power you can step into.
My mom just said, yes, she's the one. Naila Saleh is my mom, everyone.
That's
so
Naila?
So her last name is Saleh.
Mama?
So yes, my parents are from Egypt.
Awesome. And London Bissett says, go Egypt. Yes.
Go Egypt.
Okay, Let's see what other... How do you let go of negativity? I think we answered that.
Oh, I got a good one.
What?
Is it a good idea for me to travel to meet someone I met through here with a big account that I don't know well but very connected to? Amber, you are a woman. I would say no.
Or bring somebody with you. Or make sure it's in a public place or something. But
also, I don't think she should travel to... I feel like she's trying to travel to a different country or city.
Wait a second, it's a girl?
Yeah, it's a girl.
Have her come to you.
Never, ever travel to a man. The man should always travel to you.
Yeah.
Okay? And if he has a big Instagram account, I'm sure he can afford to travel to you, or at least pay for your flight or something. But it has to be a gentleman-like
you're the woman,
gesture.
be in the receiving position.
Women never go travel
No.
to a man.
No.
Never.
Love that.
Simple, right?
Yes. Way simple. Okay. Let's see. Come on, let's get a good one. What is the right way to meditate? There is no right way to meditate.
Right way.
So, at Mystic, quick little shout out to Mystic Journey, my classes. I love doing guided visualizations because I think for the very creative, fast-paced mind, you need something visual that can like almost be a focus for you. So let's say that's you and you want to do it for yourself. Closing your eyes and just letting yourself almost like watch a movie in your mind and daydreaming into like the visions that come up for you. And then once you hear a thought or an emotion comes up or whatever, feeling into that and then bringing that into one specific focus and then letting it go. So it's almost like training your mind to feel it.
To feel it.
Yeah, to feel it and hear it and then letting it go.
Yes.
And then, true, like just deep, straight meditation is once you can process all of that and like, get into the rhythm of letting things go more easily, then you can just hold that space of like, I'm here now and centered and nothing's coming. You can like quiet the mind so that it's not running a mile a minute.
And also remember that your higher self is all-knowing. Yeah. And all it's waiting for you to do is to turn your focus inward because we're so, our attention is so...
Externally focused.
Yeah, we're so externally focused. So as soon as you become internally focused, you will have a lot of guides guiding you. And yes, at first it can be a little discombobulating, but the more that you do it, the more you'll be able to tap into very specific frequency, whether you want to work it with angels or your higher self or... Pleiadian energy or Arcturian energy, but go inside and I would say try to not listen to much sound. Try to completely shut out
unless
the external
it's really mellow,
right?
Like something that's like look up like a a meditation tone or something. I like use it like 432 hertz or whatever that has like a subliminal tone underneath it, but that's just me because I geek out on weird.
But remember that through your breath you can travel inwardly, and there are tunnels in here that then lead you to undiscovered places.
Totally.
But let's answer this.
2 minutes.
I feel like we should
cool.
answer her. Sarah and Phil, can you help me about a guy named Quinn? We both had a very close, fiery connection I've never felt with anyone else. Should I still think about him? Am I thinking too much about him? Yes. You're thinking too much about him. Let it go, let it flow. Anything else to add to that?
Okay, so she said, okay.
Should I still think about him? You get to choose if you want to think about someone.
Yeah.
But if it starts to kind of pull you out of your center, then you're overthinking.
Exactly. So, okay, I'll give the quick analogy, right? Like if two energies come together and then both of you guys send the energy, like you're pushing your hands together, and we want to do this quickly because we have like a minute left. So if both of you are giving and you're pushing energies together, if he then pulls back, then that has you falling after him, which is then like, what people are like, they're so needy and grabby energy and all that stuff. So girl, just pull back. And if he doesn't come back to pull it back to center. If he doesn't come back to you, then okay, there's 1,000 different reasons for that or whatever, but don't keep sending the energy out because that's going to have him pull back even more because he can feel that. So,
and guys, just remember that everything that pulls you out of your now or your center, it's really just a hologram to get you to learn mastery.
Yeah, and
to
come
learn
back
mastery
to center.
And come back to center.
You're like,
that's all
I'm
it's
out of
for.
center. Okay, what do I need to do to get back
I'm thinking
into
about
that?
my chores tonight. Oh, well, I don't need to be thinking about that. Let me just focus on what's in front of me.
Totally.
That's it. So we love you guys so much.
You guys are amazing.
This hour flew freaking by.
It always flies
You guys,
by.
please go follow Serah Delane,
Love
SerahDlane.
Yes.
Serah Delane, and
sign up for the webinar.
For the webinar, that's right.
Love you guys. You're
okay,
amazing.
good. Thank you guys.
Mwah.
Bye.
Have an amazing night.